Calvin believe that?
Pardon?
Calvin believes that?
It's in his,
Because wasn't he really important? Calvinism and the deists and America back in the day?
oh yes,
Like,
yeah. John Calvin started his colony or church or community in Geneva. By the way, he's connected to Martin Luther and also John Knox. John Knox was a follower of Calvin, and John Knox is the one that took this Calvinist view to Scotland, and that's where we get the presbyters. The presbyters are in charge of the church, so they vote. They're the wealthy that vote in the church on who should be the minister and what the church professes. And by the way, because they voted and selected that, it's with one argument that succeeded so well in the church that the Calvinists then went ahead and started doing that in their own government in the town. And that did so well that it convinced the University of Edinburgh to teach it. And that led to Thomas Hobbes, who ended up arguing as it's a social contract. We the people. Whoa. You see the chain? We the people, instead of the king being appointed by God and appointing all the ones below, all of a sudden now that whole thing gets turned around so you can trace the idea that the legitimating authority of a government comes from the people. Actually, it traces all the way down from the Calvinists, John Knox. Nasty piece of work, by the way, John Knox. Hated women. Was very upset with Queen Mary. However, so these are Augustinians, you know. Oh, I didn't spell that right at all. There we go, thank you. So this is those who follow the rule of St. Augustine. Is that going to give me a link? Because you could actually see the rule. It does. Aha. Georgetown University is the faculty are Augustinian. Interesting. Let's go to Wikipedia. So he gives us the monastic life. I mean, if you're going to live in a family and have children and so on, you're having way too much fun. Go ahead.
Are these guys like, when you say they're followers of Augustine, does that mean like there was like cults of them, or were they like he just read Augustine's works and so then he was an Augustinian, or like
they were monks in the order of St. Augustine. They broke away from it. Martin Luther was an Augustinian monk. Famously ended up breaking away, caused all kinds of political shifts and so on. Great movie, by the way, although Ralph Fiennes is the one who plays Martin Luther. Or no, it wasn't Ralph Fiennes, it was his brother, which I don't know his name offhand. But he still looks like Voldemort to me. No one got that one either.
I think you could replace the word order and cult, they're interchangeable.
What is a cult? It's short for culture, and so certainly it applies. Yeah. We usually have an addendum to the word cult, though, that makes it sound like you need help. But theoretically, we can't be without culture. I mean, you speak a language, maybe you have a particular narrative you've inherited, plus the meaning of the words you have, plus what foods you eat. I can't eat certain foods. As soon as I see them, I'm like, bleh. Sorry. Been offered some. I have had some that I probably would have reacted that way too, except they wouldn't tell me what it was. And they were right, because I liked it. And if I had known what it was, I probably, no, thank you. So it's not, But there are people that get sick from even thinking about eating fried chicken in Alaska. Maybe you know some people that have that kind of trouble. No, so the monastic life is this is the answer. Come follow me. The ones that theorize, well, what would that mean? That would mean not immersing yourself in all of the attachments to life. And how do you get away from it? You have strict physical austerities. Avoidance. It's very much like the Buddhists. You're familiar with Buddhism. The Buddha tried out all the religions. Siddhartha, I guess, tried out all the religions, and he concluded they're all wrong. All the Hindu religions are wrong. And he sat underneath the Bodha tree that connected to Buddha, linguistically, and was enlightened that the only route to salvation, to nirvana, is asceticism, complete unattachment, the eightfold path. Give up all the things that basically enable us to feel like, well, life is wonderful and evil at the same time. So the Buddhist monk is essentially the spitting image of the monk. In fact, I would argue that no matter what religion you take, if you proceed theologically up the chain, you end up having basically the same beliefs. It's kind of neat that way, actually. Which makes me half wonder if this is kind of like physics. There's things that we learn in physics that it doesn't matter whether you're Chinese, Hungarian, or French. You have to believe it. At least currently, till the next new theory, right? But is that the same thing with theology? It looks like. So, but his writing and the arguments, it will be long. When will it be? This is such good stuff. We perceive intervals of time. We compare them with ourselves and we say some are longer, others shorter. We even measure by how much shorter or longer this time may be than that. How many hours are there in a day?
As many as you want.
24.
Depending on what planet you're on.
But the Earth actually takes 23 hours and 57 minutes to rotate. So where does, actually it's 56. So where does the other 4 minutes come from?
Year? I don't know.
The shift of the Earth in its orbit, its path, needs an extra 4 minutes in order for the sun to be at the same place the next day.
Tilt.
So we end up with 24 hours. Kind of convenient, anyway. What was the quiz question for today? Free will. Do you have free will? Try playing with that. Do you like Augustine's answer? That even if God knows exactly what you're going to do, your parents know you're going to take your hand and stick it in the fire and then they'll laugh at you. Isn't that evil? I would always keep the kid away from the fire. I don't want them to learn how hot it is.
Give me on the definition of free will.
So, Daniel Dennett, who's my favorite on this, gives us a wonderful explanation that we have more freedom now than ever.
I agree with that.
and freedom evolves.
I think that's a ridiculous assumption.
He's dead now. He died just recently, actually.
So for Augustine's theory of music and similar, is that going to be Monday's quiz question, or is that also technically today's because it's on the
Oh, shoot.
it's on the 9?
That's a darn good question.
That's
Yeah,
what
that should be today too, shouldn't it?
Yeah, technically.
Because theoretically,
that one was Monday's technically.
I had
Augustine's theory of music. See, similar to Platonic.
yeah, Plotinus.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Well, this gets back to the golden ratio. And is there a best music? Is there a best sacred music? I didn't talk about it, but Bishop Ambrose was the first church leader to codify a chant that was correct use for the church. And it's referred to as the Ambrosian chant. And the main thing about it, I suppose, if you get to listen to it, is that it's a plain chant. It's not in multiple voices. It's just one musical line with no harmony whatsoever, right? So when you listen to it, and there are examples, you can listen to examples on the web, and in fact, I think I have a link from my notes to the music that Augustine's mother liked best. So if you want to actually hear it, you can hear the music that was her favorite, and that's an Ambrosian chant. I have it on my notes somewhere, as long as the YouTube video is still there, which is probably it. It mentions here that Gregorian chant was named after Pope Gregory, which comes later, and that's when you get the 4 voices that are added. What we mostly listen to as chant or Gregorian chant is normally from that period. We'll talk about the chant that comes from Hildegard von Bingen. Hildegard was an abbess, a nun from the Middle Ages, who ran the convent of Bingen, and she wrote her own music, which we still have, and you can listen to recordings of it, although usually some of the recordings have instrumentation added to it, which makes it really neat, but it's not the way she would have recognized it. Good?
So should we try and answer that question too as well?
Yeah.
Or should we wait for
What?
Monday?
I'm confused now whether how I intended that. Shoot. I didn't check it myself. Because next class we're going to be talking about the Middle Ages, and we're going to focus on St. Anselm, and that's where we're going to get the definition of God that is still used today by theologians. So
So try to answer that second one if we can.
yeah, you can answer both if you like. If I answered you right. Yeah, because when you're sitting in a sacred place, and sacred places are built to be like caves, I imagine it came from, if you look at some of the caves in France and so on, or I was in caves in Texas, and what you could hear was the same kind of echo that they reproduce in churches. So if you think about the way the vault is made by the architect, it's to catch these kinds of melodies and give a particular type of echo that resounds for us. One of the most intriguing of those is the Sophia, the Hagia Sophia in Turkey, which is the largest, and they've used electronic computers, used computers to try to capture that and reproduce it so that you can basically know what a song would sound like if it was played in the Hagia Sophia. You have a question.
I do. So on the syllabus it says first exam given, and then
Yes.
it's due
So,
on 29th?
so really, this Saturday? But
yeah.
Saturday would be
or-
good. But you,
Okay.
and do you see where it is? Can you click on that?
Well, it has this link, but it takes me to
Oh,
a
okay.
random, like,
Oh,
I'm not really
yeah.
sure if this is.
A couple other people have told me the same thing. That's a issue associated with the,
So I couldn't find
can you
like
go-
what I'm supposed to write about.
can you go to where I just say,
Like the lecture notes?
oh, yeah, okay, try that.
Is it function?
No, let me see if, how would I?
Oh
So
yeah, I think lecture 9 was today.
if you can get to,
So the introduction to philosophy, those tests 1, 2, and 3.
yeah, if you could get to this page,
Introduction.
this is a link that I should have given you to exams. And notice that you have test 1 here. Let me go
Oh,
back.
on your website?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you go back, so where is this? This is, you know, Introduction to Philosophy. So if you go to the old syllabi, notice that's 2020, but I still use the
Oh,
same page for test 1, 2, and 3.
I just put red.
okay. How do you get there again? Can you get there from lecture